Okay, so some fun requests today. There's a pose I taught recently that has been requested, so we're just going to start with it today. You'll come to seated, and this is for your lower back. So come to seated with the soles of the feet on the mat. Bring the feet together. So inner thighs are touching, inner knees are touching. And keep a generous bend in the knees and start to rest the chest on the thighs. If you can't get the chest to the thighs, then the feet need to walk in more. So you got to figure out where this is for you. And then clasp opposite elbows, let the head and the neck go. And this is how we're starting our practice today. So you'll come to a deeper breath. Inhale in through the nose and back out through the nose. Inhale in through the nose and back out through the nose. One more like that. Deep breath in and slow breath out. Keep going on your own. If you feel like you want to straighten the legs a little bit, you can. Just make sure the chest is still touching the thighs. Once the chest isn't touching the thighs, you've gone too far. Clasp opposite elbows the other way. And slowly start to come back up to seated. You can keep the soles of the feet on the mat, legs bent. You're coming down onto your back and hug the right knee in toward the chest. So still staying in the lower back, trying to find a little bit more space there. We'll just start today's class with a lot of focus on the lower back. So whenever your lower back is bothering you, these are a couple of good things to do. Switch sides, bring the left knee in. And we know when we extend the opposite leg out, that takes away space from the lower back. It's a completely different thing. It's not bad, but if you're trying to get some space in the lower back, that's not going to help. This will. Then set the left foot down onto the mat. Interlace the fingers back behind the head, rest the head in the hands. So anyone in the fitness world is going to tell you when you have something going on in the lower back, you got to strengthen the core, right? Or just at least figure out ways to engage it a little bit more because the lower back's taking on too much of a load in our day-to-day movements, or maybe it's something specific. All right, lift the heels up, get them in line with the knees, move the knees away from you so they're right over the hips. That definitely makes it a little bit more challenging. Look up, take an inhale. On the exhale, lift the shoulder blades up and away from the mat. Inhale back, exhale up. So just a few of these. Inhale back, exhale up to start to bring heat into the core. Inhale back. Try looking up the whole time. Exhale up. Inhale back. Exhale up. One more like this. Inhale back. Exhale up. Stay up. Just twist the upper body to the right. Leave the legs. Inhale back to center. Shoulder blades still up. Twist to the left. So shoulder blades stay up the whole time. You're twisting side to side on the exhale. When you come back to center, it's the inhale. And you want to keep it slow and controlled. It's not so much about getting the opposite elbow to the opposite knee. Think about keeping the elbows wide and getting the twist to happen from the upper abdomen, chest area instead of the shoulders or the arms. That core hugs in to support you so you can lift the upper body and twist it at the same time. One more time each side, right and left. Set the head back down, extend the legs straight up, reach the arms up. And then from here, lift the upper body. You're going to keep the chest up. Just start to lift up a little bit higher toward the feet and then come back halfway. So similar to what we did before, lift up to the feet, back halfway, lift up, Inhale back, exhale up, inhale back. Keep going at this pace. And there's a tiny little pause at the top of each movement. Two more good ones. And then from here, set the head down, reach the arms up, have the palms facing one another, and then bring the arms overhead, squeeze the legs, reach the legs forward. You're hovering them over the mat, getting really long, hugging the core in, whole body hugs in. So all the muscles wrapped around the bone. Arms are still reaching back overhead. Hands aren't touching the ground because they're shoulder height. Stay here for 3, 2, 1, set it all down. Walk the feet in, bring the knees in toward the chest. You can rock side to side a little bit. Set the feet down onto the mat. Roll over to your right side. Bring yourself up to seated, legs out in front of you. And then once you get here, let's bring the soles of the feet together, knees wide for Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. You might want to shift side to side a couple of times so you get nice and even on the sit bones. Grab the inner edges of the feet if you can reach them. Ankles are fine too. Open up the feet. So you're trying to see the whole sole of each foot, pinky toe sides of the feet come together. And then start to hinge forward. Heart's reaching forward over the toes. So you want to avoid any rounding in the upper back. Elbows can flare out if you're getting pretty low. You can close the eyes. If you can keep the back long, then you can let the head and the neck go. And we're just starting out, especially if this is the first type of movement you've been doing today. Maybe don't go too deep, just find a nice gentle opening. And come back up to seated. Use the hands to help the knees back together. Come to hands and knees, tabletop. Once you get there, stack the shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. On the inhale, reach the heart forward, lift the tail. On the exhale, round the spine, chin in toward the chest. Keep going, cat-cow on your own. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. Slight toning of the belly going in both directions. So you keep that support for the lower back. And next time you round the spine, make that your last cycle. You'll come back to neutral spine. And let's come down onto our forearms. Step the feet back behind us. Come into Sphinx pose. So tops of the hips touch down on the mat, tops of the feet down to the mat, chest reaches forward. Look down the bridge of the nose. And it's as if you're trying to slide the mat back behind you and reach the heart forward at the same time. When you press down into the tops of the feet, that helps to keep the legs engaged. So knees are probably lifted away from the mat. Tail is definitely pointing back toward the heels so you can keep the lower back long. And while you rest the hips, core hugs in a little bit. It's not pressing down toward the mat. And start to set yourself down onto the mats. You're still lying on your stomach. Bring the arms out in front of you. So palms are resting down on the ground in front of the mat. Look down, but keep the head lifted just to shoulder height. So it's not very high, but your nose isn't touching the mat. As you press down into the tops of the feet, hands come up to shoulder height. So not very high, just enough to not be touching the ground. Take an inhale, get long, keep the tops of the feet down. On the exhale, cactus the arms, spread the chest open. Inhale, reach the arms forward. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach the arms forward. Exhale, cactus the arms. and rest. So you can stack the hands, rest the forehead, or turn the head to one side and rest the arms down by the sides of the body. Move the hips side to side, keep the feet down on the mat. If that doesn't bother your lower back, then stick with it. If it does, then you can come to stillness. But for some of us, we get a little bit of a release in the lower back when we just let the hips go side to side. Then lift the head, coming back to center, hands down by the lower ribs, come up to hands and knees. Take child's pose, big toes together. You could keep the knees all the way together, especially if the lower back is tender. So inner edges of the thighs, inner thighs would be touching inner knees, just like child's pose, but chest, torso is completely on the thighs. And if you're going the opposite direction, big toes together, knees apart, make sure the outer rib cage is supported by the thighs. It's not falling between the thighs. That's too big of a child's pose. Then look forward at the hands. Take downward facing dog. Shift forward to hands and knees. Tuck the toes. Lift the hips up and back. It's your first one. You probably want some movement, maybe a deep bend in the knees. It's a big pose. We do it a lot, but the first one is a lot to ask of the body. So you don't feel like you need to stay in it with stillness. You can keep it more dynamic and just find some stretches by doing some pedaling of the feet. Another good one. So let the heels come down toward the mat and then lift the heels up high. So they're up over the balls of the feet. Push the hips back. So the hips went forward when you lift the heels. Keep the hips pushing back, heels high, and then you can move the hips side to side a little bit. Come back to center, slowly descend the heels down toward the mat. They don't have to touch, and you can still keep a bend in the knees if you want to. Step the right foot forward. So look forward at the hands. Right foot comes up between the hands. Bring the back knee down to the mat, one hand at a time to this front thigh. Peel the chest away from the thigh. You can sink the hips forward a little bit. Just make sure the right knee stacked over the right ankle and it's not going ahead of it. It could even be behind it. Chest stays lifted. And we're getting into the lower body. Then reach the arms all the way up. Take an inhale. On the exhale, cactus the arms, elbows down and back. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms, elbows down and back. One more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms, elbows down and back. This time, inhale, reach up. Bring the left arm forward and the right arm back. So now you're finding a twist. Try not to lean forward. If you feel okay, maybe look to the right or even at that back hand. Core's definitely hugging in, shoulders away from the ears. So you're spreading the arms out wide. Keep the twist, just bring the gaze back forward. Right hand, heel of the hand comes to the sacrum. Left palm turns to face up. Reach that left arm up. So that right hand helps you keep the tail and the pubic bone coming toward one another. And that's how you get that neutral position of the hips. Bring the gaze forward, bring the hands down to the mat, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, step back, downward facing dog. Switch sides, look forward, left foot comes up between the hands, set the back knee down, one hand at a time up to this front thigh, peel the chest away from the thigh. Maybe you sink the hips a little bit, chest still lifts. Inhale the arms all the way up toward the sky. On the exhale, cactus the arms, lift and spread the chest. Inhale, reach the arms up. On the exhale, cactus the arms. You're pinching the shoulder blades together like you're trying to hold a pencil between the shoulder blades. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms, core hugs in. This time, inhale, reach up. Right arm goes forward, left arm goes back. Find the twist. Maybe you look at that backhand or to the left, core hugging in, spread the arms out wide. Keep the twist, just look straight forward over the right hand. Heel of the left hand comes to the sacrum, right arm reaches up, lengthen the right side body, tail and pubic bone going toward one another. Hands come back down to the mat, make your way back, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, inhale forward to plank pose, lower down halfway chaturanga, back up to plank pose, back to downward facing dog. Little different, inhale forward to plank pose, lower down chaturanga, all the way down to the mat, lying on your stomach, tops of the feet to the mat, setting up for cobra. Inhale, lift up, Bhujangasana, tail points back toward the heels. Exhale, release, downward facing dog. Maybe you tuck the toes, come back to plank pose, lift the hips up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Bend the knees, look forward to the top of the mat, walk the feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. 2 more like that. Hug the belly in, reach the heart forward. Exhale, fold. Last one like that. Inhale up halfway. You're looking down toward the ground. Exhale, fold. This time, circle the arms all the way up to standing. Hands come together overhead, down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach the arms up. Bend that right elbow. So you're reaching down the center of the back. And then grab the right elbow and you'll lean over to the left. So you're standing, trying to keep the weight even in both legs, getting into the side body and that right shoulder. Gaze is going forward. Right hip's going to go out to the right a little bit. Come back to center, reach the arms up, switch sides. Bend the left elbow, grab onto the left elbow, lift the chest up, then take the upper body over to the right. Feel that nice long line on the left side. Core still hugging in. Back through to center, reach both arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. On the exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, hands down to the mat, step back to plank pose, shift forward onto the toes, lower down halfway chaturanga, cobra or up dog. So if you're an up dog, you hug the core in, chest widens, glutes are firing. Take it back, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward to the top of the mat, step the feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Circle the arms all the way up. Bring the hands together overhead, down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, hands to the mat, step back to plank pose, shift forward onto the toes, bend the elbows halfway, maybe up dog or stick with cobra. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look to the top of the mat, step the feet up. So you definitely want to avoid jumping the feet up if there's anything going on in the lower back. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. You want to keep it low impact. Inhale, circle the arms all the way up. Hands come together down in front of the heart. And that goes for a lot of the joints in the body too, if there's any issues. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, full, bend the knees, hands come down to the mat, step back to plank pose, lower down halfway chaturanga, inhale up for your back bend, exhale back, down dog. From downward facing dog, step the right foot up between the hands. Come into a runner's lunge. So make sure your feet are hip width distance apart. Then once you get there, come up to crescent pose. Dig into that right heel and make sure there's some weight in the back leg. Arms reach all the way up overhead. If you want to, especially if you're worried about the lower back, bend the back knee. Make sure you maximize the space in the lower back. You'll feel it happen right away. And then you can work toward a straighter back leg without taking away the space, which might mean you have a bend in that knee, which is fine for your crescent pose. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms. This time, inhale, reach up, left arm forward, right arm back. Find the twist. Inner thigh scissor, chest is still lifted. Maybe the gaze stays forward, or you could challenge your balance and look to the right, or maybe even at that backhand. Just keep the deep lunge in the front knee. Everything stays the same. Bring the gaze forward, right hand to the sacrum, left arm reaches up. Pubic and tailbone going together. Lift, lift, lift. Bring the gaze forward. This time, left hand comes down underneath the shoulder. Right arm reaches up. So in a twist, but now the left hand's on the mat. Right knee still going forward. Chest is opening. Right hand comes down to the mat. Spin the left heel down flat. Right hand can stay outside the right foot, maybe on a block, or right forearm, right thigh. Lift the left arm up, side angle pose, Parsvakonasana. Opening up across the chest, hugging the core in, making sure that right knee is still going forward over the second and third toe. You can guide it with the forearm if you've got forearm to thigh happening. Then turn that top palm to face forward. Extend the arm over the ear. So extended side angle. And then we'll move the left arm and keep it a little dynamic. So bring the left arm down toward the mat, reach back behind you, and then swing the arm forward over the ear. Keep going in those circles. So opening up that left shoulder, left arm circling up, down, back, and around. One more time, end up with the left arm up and over the ear. Hands come down to the mat any way you want, back to downward facing dog. You can take a vinyasa, you can skip them, you can modify them. Left foot steps up between the hands, feet hip width, crescent pose when you're ready. Spend some time with the back leg, bend it, find the space in the lower back. You can feel the core hug in when you do that, and then maybe work toward a straighter back leg. Inhale, lift the arms up. On the exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms. This time, inhale, reach up. Right arm reaches forward, left arm reaches back. Maybe the gaze goes to the left. Maybe it goes to that backhand. Gaze comes forward, left hand to the sacrum, flip the right palm up. Lift that right arm up, right side body up. Keep the deep lunge, pubic bone and tailbone going toward one another. Gaze comes forward, right hand comes down to the mat, right underneath the shoulder, left arm reaches up to the sky. Right bicep is pointing forward and the triceps coming back. That keeps your shoulder in place. Left hand down to the mat. Spin that right heel down flat. You'll need to hop it in a little bit. Heel to arch or heel to heel. Side angle pose. Maybe forearm to thigh or hand down. Right arm reaches straight up. Top palm faces forward. Sweep the arm over the ear. Extended side angle. Bring that right arm down toward the mat, reach back behind you, and then reach it forward over the ear. Few more times on your own with these circles, going slow. Next time you end up with the arm over the ear, stay there. Hands come down toward the mat any way you want, back to downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look to the top of the mat, step, walk, hop, get the feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose. Bend the knees, reach the arms up. Weight goes into the heels of the feet, chest lifts. If you look down, you'd be able to see all 10 toes. If not, pull the knees and the hips back. Come all the way up to standing. Hands come together, down in front of the heart. Inhale, sit back, Utkatasana chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Step the left foot back behind you, coming into a runner's lunge. Take it up to crescent when you're ready. Maybe a bend in the back knee. Inhale, lift the arms up. On the exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach up. 2 more. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms. This time, inhale, reach up. Left arm goes forward, right arm goes back. Maybe the gaze goes to the right or at that backhand. That's a challenge for your balance. It might help you go deeper into the twist though as well. Gaze comes forward, right hand to the sacrum, left arm reaches up. Pubic bone and tailbone going toward one another. Core hugs in, that helps you lift the chest. Gaze comes forward, left hand down underneath the shoulder, right arm reaches up. Find your twist. Right hand comes down to the mat, spin the left heel down flat. Side angle pose, hand can stay down or forearm to thigh. Turn the top palm to face forward, reach the left arm up and over the ear. So pinky side of that left hand is down, thumb is up. So if somebody was behind you, you're showing them your palm on the left hand. Hands come down to the mat, come onto the ball of the back foot, step the left foot up to meet the right foot. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Come back to chair pose. Hug the right knee in toward the chest. Come up to standing. Once you get there, bring the left arm up. Open the right knee out to the side, left arm out to the side. Try to level off the sit bones and lift the chest up. Top of the left thigh presses back. Come back to center. Right knee goes forward, left arm reaches up. Reach both arms up. Extend that right leg forward. Right foot comes down to the mat. Fold down over the legs. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Right foot steps back behind you. Runner's lunge. Take it into crescent pose. Maybe a bend in the back knee. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach up. Last one. Exhale, cactus the arms. This time, inhale, we reach up. Right arm reaches forward, left arm reaches back. Find that twist, core hugging in. Maybe the gaze goes in the direction you're twisting in. Gaze goes forward, left hand sacrum, right palm up. Lift up with that right side of the body. Gaze forward, down toward the mat, right hand underneath the right shoulder, left arm reaches up. Left hand comes down to the mat, spin that right heel down flat. Maybe left hand stays where it is, right arm reaches up. Side angle pose. Right palm turns to face forward. Sweep the right arm over the ear. Thumb up, pinky side of the hand down. Right hand comes down to the mat. Come onto the ball of the back foot. Right foot steps up to meet the left foot. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold back to chair pose. Shift the weight over to the right foot. Hug the left knee in toward the chest. Come up to standing. Reach the right arm up toward the sky. Open up the left knee out to the side, right arm out to the side. So you're hugging that outer right hip in toward the midline, lifting the lower belly. Come back through to center, right arm reaches up, left arm reaches up. Extend that left leg forward, push it away from you. Feet step side by side. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, hands to the mat, step back to plank pose, Vinyasa. Right foot steps up between the hands, find your runner's lunge. Take an inhale, exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms. This time, inhale, reach up. Left arm goes forward, right arm goes back. Maybe change the gaze. Gaze comes forward, right hand sacrum, left palm up. Reach up with the left side. Keep the tail and the pubic bone going toward one another. Gaze comes forward, left hand down underneath the left shoulder, right arm reaches up. A little different this time. Turn the toes to the right, side plank. So you can just heel toe the right foot back halfway and do a modified version of side plank by pressing into the feet, lifting the hips up, or you can stack the feet for your side plank. Turn that top palm to face forward, reach the right arm up and over the ear. Hands come down to the mat, down dog, vinyasa, you choose. Left foot up between the hands. Crescent pose when you're ready. Inhale, lift the upper body up. Exhale, keep that lift, just cactus the arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms. This time, inhale, reach up. Right arm forward, left arm back. Find your twist. Gaze comes forward, left hand to the sacrum, flip the right palm up, reach up. Make sure you keep the hips in alignment with the pubic bone and the tailbone going toward one another. Gaze comes forward, right hand down to the mat, left arm reaches up for that twist. Turn the toes out to the left on both feet. Heel toe the left foot back halfway. Stay here and press into the foot or stack the feet. Vashisthasana. Left palm turns to face forward. Reach the left arm up and over the ear. Keep lifting the hips up. Both hip bones point straight forward. Don't let the top hip point up. Hands down to the mat, downward facing dog. Stay here or take a vinyasa. Few breaths in down dog. Bend the knees, look forward to the top of the mat. Bring the feet up lightly to the hands. Really soft without making a sound. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Back to chair pose, Utkatasana. Weights in the heels of the feet, arms reach up. Come all the way up to standing, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Inhale, sit back, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Step the left foot back behind you, runner's lunge. Come all the way up, crescent pose. Cactus the arms on your exhale. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach up. Last time, exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach up. Left arm forward, right arm back. Gaze goes forward, right hand sacrum, left arm reaches up. Look forward, left hand to the mat, right arm reaches up. Little different this time. Bring the right hand down to the mat. Shift forward to standing split. So you might need to shift the hands forward. You could even bring the hands up on blocks, but lift the left leg up, fold over the right leg. Then walk the hands forward so they're underneath the shoulders. You want a long torso. Left toes are pointing straight down toward the mat. You can be on the left fingertips right underneath the left shoulder. Reach the right arm up for twisting half moon. So we've been playing with this shape. We're just making it a little bit harder with the one leg. Core hugs in, spread the chest open, press that left foot away from you. Right hand comes down to the mat, step back to your runner's lunge, left hand down, right arm up, side plank, toes turn to the right, stack the feet, lift the hips up. Maybe that right palm goes up and over the ear. Hands down to the mat, downward facing dog, with or without the vinyasa. Bend the knees, look forward to the top of the mat, step, walk, get the feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold, right foot steps back behind you. Find your runner's lunge. Reach the arms up, crescent pose. Inhale, lift. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach up, crescent. Exhale, cactus the arms. Last one, inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms. This time, inhale, reach the arms up, right arm forward, left arm back. Core hugs in, spread the arms out wide, deep lunge in the front knee. Try not to lean forward. Good. Gaze goes forward, left hand to the sacrum, right arm reaches up. Look forward, right hand comes down to the mat, left arm reaches up, still in a twist. Left hand comes down to the mat, standing splits. Shift the weight forward to the left foot, lift the right leg up. Start to walk the hands forward, hands right underneath the shoulders so you get the full length of the torso. Right fingertips underneath the right shoulder or on a blocker, great. Lift the left arm up, open the chest, keep pressing out through both legs. Reach forward with the crown of the head, twisted half moon. Left hand down, step back to your runner's lunge, right hand underneath the right shoulder, left arm reaches up. Find the twist, take it to side plank, last one, feet, toes go to the left, maybe you stack the feet. Left arm can reach up and over the ear, lift the hips up high. Hands down to the mat any way you want. From downward facing dog, you can hold it. You could take a vinyasa. It's the last one. Take child's pose, bring the knees down to the mat, big toes together, sit the hips back, forehead comes down to the mat. Arms can be back behind you if you'd like. Then come back to downward facing dog, hands out in front of you, tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back. Step the right foot up between the hands, coming into your runner's lunge, but we bring the back knee down. Reach the arms all the way up. Right hand to the sacrum, left arm reaches up. Pubic bone to tailbone, tailbone to pubic bone. Lift up with that left side body. Look forward, hands come down to the mat, back toes tuck, lift the back knee, step back, down dog, left foot steps up between the hands, set the back knee down, reach the arms up, low lunge. Left hand sacrum, right arm reaches up. Find your back bend, make sure the hips aren't going with you. Gaze comes forward, hands down to the mat, lift the back knee, step back, downward facing dog. This time, bring the knees down to the mat. If you're on a hard surface, fold your mat back, the top of the mat back, and give yourself a little extra padding. So you're standing on the knees. You want to feel a cushion underneath the knees, especially for a pose like this. So hands come to the lower back, either fingertips point down or up. That just depends on your wrist mobility. Down is easier. Lift the inner thighs up, lift the belly up, lift the chest up, outer elbows hug in, camel pose. Keep the hands on the lower back, lean the chest back, but not the hips. Hips stay over the knees. Ustrasana. You could stay looking forward. That brings a lot of space to the neck. Some people like to look up. It's more intense. Slowly come back up onto the knees, untuck the toes, sit back onto the heels, rest the hands on the thighs. Take a break here. We're doing 2 more of those. Come back up onto the knees, tuck the toes, hands to the lower back, lift and spread the chest, outer elbows hug in. Toes can be tucked underneath you. If you feel like it's not too far, you could bring the hands to the heels, keeping the chest lifted, hips over the knees. Core hugs in. Still that connection of the tailbone and the pubic bone going toward one another. Slowly bring the hands back to the lower back, untuck the toes, sit back onto the heels, rest, try not to counter pose. We want to do 1 more. So you can feel the body already wants to go. into a back bend. It's ready for it. So we'll take one last one, come back up onto the knees. If you want to keep the tops of the feet down to the mat, that's a farther way to reach back and a bigger back bend. If you're fine with the toes tucked, do that. You could even do blocks outside the feet or just hands to the lower back. Start with hands to the lower back, reach the chest back, hug the outer elbows in. If you feel like you want to go deeper, that's when you bring the hands down. And then you still find a nice stretch on the front side of the body as the back side of the body supports it. Slowly bring the hands to the lower back, untuck the toes, sit back onto the heels. Done with that. Bring the hands to the heart. So bring the left hand on top of the heart, right hand on top of the left hand, and just feel the heartbeat. Being grateful for that drum in your chest that keeps you alive. And just a friendly reminder that you're living right now in this moment. Everything as it should be. Accepting it for what it is. And blink open the eyes, hands to the thighs. So you'll come forward to hands and knees. If you have the mat folded, take a moment to unfold it. And let's come to child's pose, but we'll do that one with the knees and the feet together. This is a nice child's pose to do after a big back bend like camel. So inner knees and inner feet are touching. Sit the hips back. Forehead comes down toward the mat. Maybe the arms go back behind you. That could be really nice. Torso on the thighs. Bring the hands underneath you, lift the head and the chest, come to seated. So feet over to one side. Let's bring the left shin in front of the right for a cross-legged seat, Sukhasana. You want the toes to point forward, ankles in line with the knees so the feet aren't back by the hips. And then once you get that, sit up tall, fingertips out by the sides to help you get that length in the spine. Start to open the chest to the left. Maybe the back of the right hand comes to the left thigh. Try not to press into it. Use it to sit up taller and then start to bring the gaze over the left shoulder. Left fingertips also help you sit up taller. And you can feel the difference. You could press into the back of the right hand to drive deeper into the twist, but you want your core muscles to take you into it. So it's just a light kickstand. Slowly come back forward with the upper body. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold over the legs. Come into your hip opening. Let the head and the neck go. Walk the hands back in toward the body, then bring the hands back behind you, lean back, switch the crossing of the legs, right shin in front of the left shin, maybe shift side to side a little bit, sitting up tall, open the chest to the right, one hand in front of you, one hand back behind you. Maybe the back of the left hand comes to the right thigh, stay on the right fingertips, sit up as tall as you can, find that twist without using the hands. Just use the core. Gaze over that right shoulder. Gaze comes back forward, unwind the chest, inhale the arms up, fold over the legs. Sukhasana as your hip opener. Let the head and the neck go. Use props if you have them. They can go underneath the hands, blocks, forehead. You can sit on a block. We'll start to walk the hands back in. Bring the hands back behind you. Extend the legs out in front of you, but keep a nice bend in the knees. So heels on the mat, toes up. Fold forward, rest the chest on the thighs, clasp opposite elbows. So similar to the way we started, except now you're warm. So maybe you start to slide the feet forward. Chest has to stay on the thighs. It's not a competition. You're just listening to your body. And let the head and the neck go. And you feel like that's a good place. Stay there. And you can stay here or you can come into the full version of Paschimottanasana, extending the legs out in front of you. Maybe you grab onto the feet, legs, ankles, even the mat. Reach the chest forward, keep that back long. You can even look forward over the toes. And then when you can't go anymore, you can let the head and the neck go. Try not to let the chest collapse. And come all the way up to seated, soles of the feet to the mat. Come on down onto your back. Let's take a happy baby just to spread the back. We did a lot of work on the back today. So bring the knees in toward the chest, open up the knees wide. Take any version of happy baby. So that could mean not grabbing the feet, maybe the backs of the thighs, calves, but keep the tail down toward the mat, head on the mat. And then if you want to shift side to side, you can rock or just stay still. But you want to feel like there's a spreading happening in the back. It's also a hip opening too. Bring the knees in toward the chest, close the eyes, take a big inhale in through the nose. Exhale, Shavasana. Extend the legs out in front of you. Maybe lift the chest up if you feel like the shoulder blades are going up toward the ears. Then start to let the fingers relax. Let the breath control go. Coming right into stillness. That's the whole point of all this movement, is to find stillness a little easier. Start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Stretch the arms overhead, reach out through the legs, get long in your body. And walk the feet in, bending the knees. Roll over to your right side if that's comfortable. You can always go the other way, cradle the head and the arm, or stay on your back. Use the left hand or whatever hand you have in front of you to bring yourself up to seated. Coming to a comfortable seat. Doesn't have to be a cross-legged seat. Maybe you have a different version of a comfortable seat. Rising up through the crown of the head, lifting up through the chest, bring the hands together in front of you, slight bow of the head, taking a moment to honor and acknowledge your heart and spirit, as well as everyone around you. Bring the head back up, blink open the eyes. Namaste. Thanks for sharing your practice today. Hope you had a good experience on your mat. I'll see you next time.